Mr. Gossard, let's start with you. We hear that this is largely symbolic. Harry Reid has said, no, we will not even hold a vote on this. So why hold that vote in the House if the President will never sign it and the Senate will never hold a vote?
First of all, that's part of what the American people elected us for. It's our job is to take care of the business of the House, and it'll be up to the Senate and the President to do their job. Just because what they say it should not deter us with the will of the people to make sure that we do what we promised.
And Congressman Garamendi, to that point, that the American people aren't wildly behind Obamacare. 40% oppose the plan. A quarter of the country still thinks that they ought to repeal it entirely. So should they do this for the American people?
I don't think so. I think that we really need to understand what is in the health care reform. For example, the Patient's Bill of Rights, things that I know that the congressman from Arizona would like to see. Protections for the public, so that the insurance company cannot discriminate based on age, based on pre-existing conditions. There's a major part of this for seniors, protection, prevention, pre-prevention, the donut hole and Medicare is reduced. All of those things are in the bill, I think, as the public comes to understand exactly what is in the bill. And it's not a government takeover. It is really based upon the existing insurance system, providing protections for people, broadening the existing private insurance system. That's what it's all about. As people understand that, I think this repeal effort will just fade away, and we'll get on to looking for improvements, and there's always room for improvements in everything.
It's expected that he will touch on those things that it's difficult to take away from people on the State of the Union address. Aside from that, Congressman Gossard, what do you want to hear on Tuesday night? He wants to complete that move to the center. He wants to talk about common ground. What is that common ground with Republicans, and how does he appeal to your party?
Well, I think, first of all, if we're looking at the aspect of empowering the American people and the free markets instead of building bigger government, we got lots to talk about, and I think that's where we have to start. We have to empower the private sector to get up and get going. Bigger government hasn't shown us that they're capable of developing our economy and building us and taking us out of this recession.
Symbolically, there's going to be some common ground on Tuesday night. We're told Republicans and Democrats in some cases are going to sit together. We talked about Peter King and Anthony Weiner are going to actually sit together on the Republican side. Is that the only bipartisan work that's going to happen moving forward? Or, Congressman Garamendi, is there more work that will be done when these two parties come together?
Well, that's nice symbolism on Tuesday night when the State of the Union is taking place, and certainly I and others will be sitting together from the California delegation. But the real bipartisanship takes place in the work in the committees and on the floor. For example, I'm working very, very diligently with members of the Republican Party on trying to establish a solid energy platform for America that's not based upon oil and coal, but rather on clean energy and nuclear. That's the kind of really heavy-duty lifting that we need to have. Yes, I'll find a good Republican friend. I have many of them on the floor, and we'll sit there and we'll cheer. And we may not applaud together on every issue, but at least we'll be together on the floor.
How about you, Congressman Gossard? Will you sit with the Democrats, and is this merely a waste of time? Is it symbolic, or is there something behind it? Is it successful?
No, I think you always make that step, and I think a lot of people say there's that symbolism, but it's what we really enact. Do we follow through and carry through on behalf of this? And this is just the first step.
Sounds good. It should be entertaining, that's for sure. Thank you both for being here. We appreciate it. Look forward to hearing from you after this address.
Thank you.
Coming up, a fight on the high seas caught on video. We'll show you this shootout between Somali pirates and commandos trying to take back their ship. Plus, this ad shows a church using snacks instead of the Eucharist. The makers want it shown during the Super Bowl. Does it go too far? We report, you decide.
In January, everyone resolves to save. During Nissan's Savings Resolution, save with 0% financing for 60 months on Altima, Rogue, Frontier, Sentra, Murano, Versa, Titan, Maxima. So make your resolution happen. See your Nissan dealer now and save with 0% 60-month financing. But hurry, this offer ends January 31st.
It's simple physics. A body at rest tends to stay at rest. while a body in motion tends to stay in motion. Staying active can actually ease arthritis symptoms, but if you have arthritis, staying active can be difficult. Prescription Celebrex can help relieve arthritis pain so your body can stay in motion. Because just one 200 milligram Celebrex a day can provide 24-hour relief for many with arthritis pain and inflammation. Plus, in clinical studies, Celebrex is proven to improve daily physical function, so moving is easier. And Celebrex is not a narcotic. When it comes to relieving your arthritis pain, you and your doctor need to balance the benefits with the risks. All prescription NSAIDs, including Celebrex, may increase the chance of heart attack or stroke, which can lead to death. This chance increases if you have heart disease or risk factors such as high blood pressure, or when NSAIDs are taken for long periods. NSAIDs, including Celebrex, increase the chance of serious skin or allergic reactions, or stomach and intestine problems such as bleeding and ulcers, which can occur without warning and may cause death. Patients also taking aspirin and the elderly are at increased risk for stomach bleeding and ulcers. Do not take Celebrex if you've had an asthma attack, hives, or other allergies to aspirin, NSAIDs, or sulfonamides. Get help right away if you have swelling of the face or throat or trouble breathing. Tell your doctor about your medical history and find an arthritis treatment that works for you. Ask your doctor about Celebrex and go to Celebrex.com to learn more about how you can move toward relief. Celebrex, for a body in motion.
The president addresses the state of our nation, but which of America's critical issues will take center stage? Neil gets answers from the biggest names in politics, live from D.C. Tuesday.
Go wireless with high-speed charter internet and turn your home into a hotspot.
Wednesday nights on TV Land are looking good. Don't miss Hot in Cleveland. Then stay tuned for Retired at 35.
That woman in there is a floozy.
Oh, hi, honey.
Your mom's back.
Did you have to insult the judge like that? He called me elderly. You are elderly. And he was really fat.
1 hour, 2 new sitcoms. Wednesday night starting at 10 on TV Land.
Welcome back.
And welcome back to you as well, Dave. This dramatic new video that we want to show you of South Korean forces storming a ship after Somali pirates hijacked it and took its crew hostage. It happened in the Arabian Sea off the coast of Africa. Troops managed to rescue all 21 members of the crew, and they killed 8 of the pirates. And the oldest living member of the Easy Company, the World War II unit that was the basis for the miniseries Band of Brothers, has died. Ed Mauser parachuted into France on D-Day and fought his way across Europe with the famous unit. Mauser died of pancreatic cancer at his home in Nebraska. He was 94 years old.
Well, the Super Bowl is known for debuting some great commercials, but this year one ad may have gone too far. The video is part of the Crash, the Super Bowl ad contest, and it recently got knocked off the list because it was deemed offensive.
Joining us now is Fox News religion contributor, Father Jonathan Morris. For folks that don't understand what was happening there, describe the situation. This is an ad for Doritos and Pepsi Max.
Right, what it was that there's a picture of a priest with his other priest there, like younger guy there, and they're talking about things are not really good, right? Their attendance is down. What are we gonna do? And one of them gets the idea, and then they show them passing out, instead of the consecrated bread, they're passing out Doritos. Instead of the consecrated wine, they're passing out Pepsi. What's happening here is there is an obvious lack of sensitivity. There's been desensitization, I would say, of executives and of media production people saying some things you don't do, not just because it's going to offend somebody, but because just like if you're not going to make a racist advertisement, you're not going to make some sort of anti-Jewish, anti-Muslim. You just don't do it because it's wrong. Likewise, when you do something that is sacrilegious, then you have to say it might work, but because it works doesn't mean it's necessarily good.
Okay, perhaps then on the flip side, some would say, well, look, this is the first time we might see some sort of religion or some sort of religious ad in some capacity in the middle of the Super Bowl. Usually it's sex-related, or it's something else, or it's about materialism. What would you say to those people?
Well, you know what? First of all, you have to know that there's a time and a place for anything that is good. But some things simply aren't good. And taking a sacred object, a sacred act, and then turning it into something that seems funny to you is not necessarily good.
And the test, of course, is what you already said. If ad executives would put it through that litmus test, would we do this mocking the Jewish tradition? Would we do this mocking the Muslim tradition? And the answer would be no, but they feel they can with Christianity.
This is anti-Christian, don't do it. It's wrong to do it, not because people will be offended, but because it's sacrilegious. The good news here, this is the real take-home lesson, I would say, is that this ad is not going to show because ordinary people stood up and said, hey guys, what you're doing is wrong. That's the good news, is that we make it
What are you doing? Huh? What's that baby doing? Hi. What I got here? Looks like you got the boogie nose. Can you push that?
Put some water in the sink. If you're thirsty, pour a drink. Clean the dishes, fill the pans. Don't forget to wash your hands.
Nice tie. Said you have a nice tie too. No big deal. No big deal. But when you're talking about a sacred thing like the infrared, right? Executives, even stop and think, is that what you want to do with your lives and your company? Coming up here on the show, shocking video. Police officer caught on camera. Watch this. Punching a female suspect in the head, but he says it's not all that it seems. Teenager